My name is James, and I'm 12 years old, and I haven't exactly had a great life like most people in the world. My parents and I just moved into a house after the previous owners went missing over a year ago. My parents are horrible to me. They've been abusing me ever since I was 5 years old, and they never listen to a word that I have to say. Whenever I talk back to my parents or even try to reason with them, they slap me across the face for defying them. They wouldn't even listen to me when I tried to warn them that I saw a monster in my closet in my new bedroom. You see, one night in September when I was sleeping in my bed, I heard growling sounds coming from my bedroom closet. I also saw glowing red eyes staring at me as I laid in my bed. I was convinced that it was a monster. I shouted for my parents to come into my room. As they came in, I tried to tell them that there was a monster in my closet, but they didn't believe me. In fact, they didn't even care. They just told me to go back to sleep. Unfortunately, I couldn't sleep, not while there was a real monster in my closet. In order to keep the monster trapped, I locked my closet door, and I put a chair in front of the doorknob to keep the monster from getting out. I could hear the monster whispering to me, telling me that once that he got out of my closet, he was going to eat me up as if I was a gourmet dish. I was so scared that there was only one thing that I could think of to save myself. I had to give the monster something better to eat than me. A month later, on Halloween night, Emma, my 17-year-old babysitter, came to my house to babysit me while my parents went out to see a movie. Emma was a beautiful young girl with lovely blonde hair and hazel green eyes. She always giggled when there was something funny to watch on TV. That night, Emma didn't want to babysit me because it was Halloween, and this was the night that she wanted to go out to a Halloween party with her friends from high school. Unfortunately for Emma, fate had other plans for her that night. At 8 p.m., while my parents were at the movies, Emma decided that it was time for me to go to bed, so she gave me a bath, tucked me in, and said, "Good night, James." 10 minutes after I went to bed, I heard loud noises coming from within my closet. I started to get worried, so I shouted for Emma to come into my room. "Emma, come here, quick," I said. Emma came into my room, frantically trying to figure out what was wrong. "James, what is it?" Emma asked. "I heard something coming from my closet," I replied. "I think it might be a monster." Emma didn't believe me. She just rolled her eyes and put her hand over her forehead in disbelief. "James," Emma said in a serious tone, "monsters don't exist. Now go back to bed." Emma then left my room, and she went back downstairs to drink some of my mother's expensive wine and smoke some cigarettes. As Emma was smoking and drinking, my closet door began to creak open. While I sat in my bed, I saw the closet monster's glowing red eyes staring right back at me from inside the closet. All I could do was sit there, wondering if he was going to eat me if I didn't give him what he wanted. At that moment, I called out to Emma again, and I told her to look inside my closet, but she didn't care. She was so drunk that she could barely even stand there. Emma told me to go back to bed and not to bother her again, and then she left my room in a drunken manner. I screamed as loud as I could for Emma to come back, and when she opened the door, I told her, "Emma, the closet monster said that he's going to eat me if you don't look inside the closet." "All right, that's it, James," Emma shouted. "I've had enough of these games. I'm going to prove to you that there's no such thing as monsters." Emma opened up my closet door to look inside, and she found nothing. All that she saw were my jackets hanging from the coat rack. "You see, James," Emma said confidently, "there's nothing in here." "Emma, move my jackets out of the way," I said. Suddenly, Emma's eyes widened in shock. She slowly turned around as she heard a growling sound coming from right behind her. As Emma turned around to look inside of my closet one more time, she finally saw it, the monster's glowing red eyes staring back at her, with a look of malice on his face. Emma screamed as loud as she could, but the monster grabbed her by the throat with his talon-like claws as he pulled her closer towards him. "You should have listened to the boy," the closet monster said ravenously. He told you that I was real. And now it's time for me to eat you." Emma screamed as the closet monster pulled her into the darkness of my closet. I watched in amazement at how fast he was and how swiftly he closed the door on Emma and dragged her away. At that moment, the only thing that I could hear from my closet were Emma's screams and horrible crunching sounds, which ended with a loud "Hmm?" Everything went silent for a few minutes, and then my closet door slowly began to open again. The closet monster came out with a bulging stomach. He looked at me with his glowing red eyes as he wiped his mouth with his talon-like claws. As the monster got to the foot of my bed, I asked, "Well, Mr. Monster, did you enjoy having my babysitter for dinner?" Yes, I did," the closet monster replied. "You were right, James. She did make a much better meal than you." "I told you that she would," I said to the monster. As the monster and I looked at each other with wicked smiles on our faces, my parents' car suddenly pulled up to the driveway, and they began to enter our house. And that's when I said to the closet monster, "You know, Mr. Monster, if you enjoyed having my babysitter for dinner, then how would you like to have my parents for dessert?" The closet monster looked at me with an evil grin on his face as my parents walked up the stairs shouting, "James, where are you? Where's Emma?" Just as my parents walked into my bedroom, I sat back and watched with glee as the closet monster attacked and gobbled them both up in one swift bite. To be honest, it made me happy to see my abusive parents die. They were never good to me, and I tried to tell them that the monster in my closet was real, but they didn't believe me until it was too late for them. After the closet monster finished eating my parents, he decided to go back into my closet and wait for me to deliver him his next meal. Before he went back inside my closet, I asked the closet monster if he really enjoyed eating Emma and my parents tonight. I'll never forget what he said to me as he went back into the closet. "Oh, yes, James. In fact, they tasted even better than the last family who lived in this house."